Here's Derrick Henry trying to get the big guy going, and he's going. And when I say going, he might go all the way. Nobody's going to catch him. Derrick Henry, touchdown. 76 yards. There are no flags.
Who can say where the road goes, where the day flows, only time.
Whew. Oh my goodness. Jake.
Wow.
That football game. These Tennessee Titans, Jake, they show us once again that you can't ever count on them, but you can't ever count them out at the same time. I mean, beating an AFC favorite right now, Buffalo Bills, 34-31 at home under the bright lights, Monday Night Football, stars showing out, kind of putting themselves on the board. I was excited to see our, top players really make a name for themselves on a national stage like this. But Jake, there's so much to get to talking about this game. How are you feeling? What a win.
Incredible win, back and forth the entire game. And, I don't know if, obviously, I think you're familiar with Dumb and Dumber, the movie, where, Lloyd Christmas pulls up on the bike and Harry goes, just when I thought you couldn't get any dumber, you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. That is
Yes.
how I feel about this Titans team. Just when you think they couldn't get any dumber, going to East Rutherford, losing to the hapless Jets, and then, flip it around 2 weeks later. I like what you said. You can't count on them and you can't count them out. And that's Titans football in a nutshell. And we saw it on full display on Monday night. I had called it. I said, not that I'm saying we're going to lose to Kansas City, but I just had a feeling we're going to split these Bills-Chiefs games. I think we're going to at least get a split. If not, now with this confidence boost, win them both. I mean, the Titans do have a lot of injuries to deal with. And obviously you said at the top, a lot to get to in this game. What an action-packed Monday night thriller in Nissan Stadium. But yeah, incredible game. Get out with the win. Huge defensive stop at the end. Just a great overall team win.
Yeah. Man, again, it's so weird how this game kind of played out, especially at the end, and like it did. Like if Josh Allen is stopped a couple yards short, they're probably kicking a field goal, and then we're going into overtime. But because we were able to stop them by just inches, that kind of forced them to make that decision to go ahead and go for it. Mm-hmm. And dude, this was very reminiscent of that game a few years ago against the then San Diego Chargers, Phillip Rivers in Nissan Stadium. It was a 3-point game, and they had the ball not just at the first down line, but on the goal line. And they could have kicked a field goal to tie it, but they decided to go for it and were able to strip Melvin Gordon. I think that was Jarrell Casey recovered it in the end zone. We come away with the win. I don't know, this Titans team has a knack. They somehow have a knack for these 4th and 3rd and short situations. We've seen Big Jeff and, Jarrell Casey in the past really get in there and make stops, even though this game kind of reminded me of that 2019 defense where it was bend, but then don't break. I mean, these red zone stops were clutch in the first quarter, holding them only to field goals instead of touchdowns. It seemed like there were times when this game could get away from the Titans pretty quickly, but then the defense finally put their clamps on. And gave the offense an opportunity to finally come around after a slow start. A couple punts, Ryan Tannehill interception. It was like, here we go. Can't be making these slow starts against a team like Buffalo. But as we saw, offense got it going, especially Derrick Henry. Nothing gets an offense going like a one-play 76-yard drive from the kid himself.
Yep.
But, like you said, this was such a confidence-boosting, possibly momentum builder for the rest of the season. At least, the Titans may do more Titans things. We may go on and lose to the Texans. I mean, it would not surprise me whatsoever. But this win, kind of reassures you that the Titans can hang with the elite teams and beat the elite teams. when they play their best ball. And the Titans didn't even play their best ball, I don't think. And we were still able to hang with and beat a very good Buffalo Bills team who was just rolling coming into this game. So, it feels good. 4-2. We are 4-2, Jake, heading into this game against Kansas City next week. But
it feels
I don't know.
great.
What do you want to get to first? We kind of talked about the defense a little bit. We can kind of get more in depth with, this pretty good defensive effort. I mean, yeah, you can look at the scoreboard, 31 points. Like, was it that good? But Buffalo is an elite offense, and, they're going to put up 30 points. But what the Titans defense did was they were good situationally. Great situational football. Got a clutch pick from our boy Kevin Byard that set up the Titans touchdown. Harold Landry, man, double-digit sacks. He is becoming more and more expensive with each passing game. He's having a great season. And, of course, Big Jeff showing up, too, as well with the sack and then that fourth down stop at the end. Just a very opportunistic defense. Didn't shut down Buffalo by any means. Had the routinely blown coverages that we did. That's very frustrating. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what this defense is made of, especially next week with Caleb Farley out for the season, torn ACL. So secondary is going to need to get with the program soon. But anyway, I don't know. How did you feel? What were your thoughts about this defensive effort?
I mean, dude, you took the words right out of my mouth. It was a stereotypical bend, don't break Titans defensive performance, and that's what we've been waiting on. I love how you said they were situationally good, and that was kind of the story of the game. And I was going to bring up, you look at the scoreboard, see 31 points, not to reiterate your words, but this was a good Titans defensive performance and one we haven't seen in kind of a while from this team. You mentioned Bills' red zone offense. The Bills went 2 for 6 in the red zone in terms of scoring touchdowns. And that is pretty much what kept the Titans in this game early. You mentioned the Tannehill pick early on in the first quarter. It was an inexcusable pass. Titans didn't look good. And then obviously the King provides the spark. And all of a sudden, it kind of felt like the start of the Titans-Jets game, but the roles were reversed. The Titans were the Jets. Buffalo's not capitalizing, not putting points up on the board, and one big play, and the Titans are in the lead early second quarter. So it was very opportunistic from the defense. You love to see Danico Autry making a big name for himself as maybe the best Titans free agent acquisition of the offseason. He obviously got to Josh Allen, forced a kind of weird tipped pass, and Kevin Byard, opportunistic. You love to see him return to form as the mayor of Murfreesboro. But I love what you said. Opportunistic defensive performance, did what they had to win. Secondary looking a little thin, but what a gritty, gutsy performance by the likes of Breon Borders and, Chris Jackson, some lower level guys in that secondary coming up and doing their best to hang tight with the likes of Sanders and Beasley and the stable of weapons that Josh Allen has. So definitely a good kind of turn the page game for the defense, but yes, kind of clouded in injuries. And you look at your cornerback room now with Fulton on short-term IR, Caleb Farley, torn ACL out for the year, and it's getting thin. So they're probably going to try and bring in some outside help, you would think, or bring up some practice squad guys and kind of make do. But unbelievable performance from the defense. And Big Jeff, I mean, what else is there to be said? He is an absolute terror in the middle.
Man, well, if we could only lock up both Harold Landry and Big Jeff on that front seven, they're both going to come with a heavy price tag. But, man, these guys are balling out this year. Definitely leading that defense. And I think it's helping, get Kevin Byard back to form. Like you said, this year he's kind of bouncing back to the Kevin Byard of old. And he's getting some help up front, forcing quarterbacks to kind of make a little more riskier throws. And he's able to get to his spots a little bit better. And as far as the corners go, I mean, pressure is on. Jackrabbit Jenkins, I don't know. He's just not – I guess he's okay. He's not as bad as Jonathan Joseph was last year for us. Mm-hmm. But he's, the pressure's on him. Pressure's on Elijah Molden. He's just a rookie. But with these cornerbacks going down, especially if Christian Fulton is going to be dealing with injuries the entire season, he's he's been okay, but he's looked like a rookie a lot at the same time. So a lot of pressure is going to be on Elijah Molden to really step up and play solid cornerback for us this year. So we're desperately missing Christian Fulton at this point. So we'll see how we address the cornerback room, whether it's bringing up practice squad guys or finding a guy that we can sign off the street or another practice squad. So. Yeah, true. So it's going to be rough, but good to see Amani Hooker back. Amani Hooker getting back there. He was very active. He made 9 tackles in this game. So it's just a constant cycle of losing players, getting players back. I almost kind of feel for this coaching staff. They are literally dealing every week with a rotating healthy players, unhealthy players. Who do we rest? Who do we play offensively and defensively? We've seen it all year. So I mean, if this team can get 100% healthy. I mean, look out, because the ability to win this game against a 100% healthy Buffalo Bills team, they didn't have a single starter out for this game. So just an incredible gutsy win from a lot of backups like Naquan Jones and Amani Bledsoe was on the line during that 4th down stop. Like who are these guys that we're finding to contribute here? So it's just incredible. And also shout out, Rashaan Evans. He had a good game, or it was probably his best game of the year. I don't know if that's a good game by traditional standards, but I thought it seemed like he played a little bit better. He made 7 tackles in the game. When are we getting back old Jayon Brown? Is he going to come back? I thought he was close to getting back, but
it's a good question. I'm not sure. And you're the Rashaan Evans truther believer, I guess, out of the two of us. I'm not the biggest fan of Rashaan Evans. I was going to shout out David Long in this game. He was all over the field, and his name was on the broadcast almost all the time. And even Steve Levy was in the Monday night booth just saying, we've called his name so much tonight. It seemed like he was flying around to the ball. There was one terrible, inexcusable kind of helmet to helmet hit on Josh Allen that would have been a 3rd and long. It was a sack to kind of set up a 3rd and long situation, and David Long comes in and hits Josh Allen in the helmet. That was his only bad spot of the night. But again, great group effort from this defense, despite giving up 31.
Yeah, I might have held on to Rashaan Evans longer than most fans, but he's lost me at this point. I think he's not going to come back, and it's time to move on, unless he miraculously turns it around here in the latter half of the season. But good defensive effort. And just real quick, this whole game and the whole atmosphere and the crowd noise and just the competitiveness back and forth, this had the feel and makings of like a playoff game. I thought it felt like this was like a super high stakes game with 2 teams just going at it blow for blow. And we're only in week 6, so not a super high stakes game, but man, just the atmosphere felt electric. I wish I could have been at Nissan Stadium last night. If you'd like to, we can move on. Let's talk about this offense a little bit. Oh boy, Derrick Henry. Should we talk about? We should. We definitely should. You asked me, I think it was last week, where do you think, someone who has watched this Titans team since they've been here in Nashville, where does he rank as far as individual players go? Like, is he the best to ever don the 2-tone blue? And I think I was like, he's there. He's, it's hard for me to say it definitively. He does need to get more team success. He needs to go to a Super Bowl. I think that's the only thing that guys like Steve McNair has over him at this point. But dude, I gotta rip off the nostalgia badge and just say Derrick Henry is the best Tennessee Titan of all time.
Yes.
What's taking me so long to admit this? This is insane, dude. Another 3 touchdown performance, 143 yards. Obviously the big one, 76-yarder. I mean, it's every week he's getting compared to other Hall of Fame running backs of old that are doing that no one else has done since they had done it. And now Derrick Henry is joining this group of players. One of them being, a 75+ yard touchdown run in 5 straight seasons. It was like only 2 other guys had ever done that before. Like Jim Brown, of course. If you're in a category with just Jim Brown, you're doing like Hall of Fame stuff. So
good company for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, and thank goodness. I mean, we said it, like, he sparked this offense. Tannehill at one point was 4 for 12 with an interception. Oh Lord! And I think one of those was the Julio Jones catch off of the helmet bounce.
Spectacular.
I've never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, dude, I pray that Julio Jones can get healthy, because you can just see it. This guy is so good. When he's on the field and he's healthy, he still has, it seems like he has elite speed. He's a massive human being, great hands, obviously. I mean, he is a Hall of Famer, yeah, no doubt about it. So, man, if he can just stay on the field and fix this hamstring thing, boy, him and AJ Brown and Derrick Henry at full strength are going to tear up the NFL. It's just, man, injuries are killing us right now, Jake. But yeah, what was your takeaway from the offense here?
So I'm starting at the top. Ryan Tannehill. I'll get to my Derrick Henry praise, but I Justin, I commend you for ripping off the nostalgia Band-Aid and saying that Derrick Henry is the best player, because absolutely dominant. But we'll start with Ryan Tannehill here. I thought the stat of the game kind of was, you said Ryan Tannehill was 4 of 12 for a pick at one point. Flip it to the fourth quarter, he was 9 for 9. I don't know how many yards he had, but he didn't miss a single pass on the game-winning or the game-leading drive. And in the fourth quarter, he was dropping dimes and tight windows and really delivered when all the chips were down. And that's what we've seen from Ryan Tannehill. He might not have the sexiest stat line of all time, but when the game is on the line, he has done it time and time again, driven this offense down the field and gotten the crucial touchdown in the waning minutes. So you like what you see from Ryan Tannehill. Also, didn't take a sack this game, Justin. Where was this Bills vaunted front seven that has been sacking every quarterback in their way? And then the Titans offensive line with Taylor Lewan going down with a scary injury, and here comes Kendall Lamb, and no sacks on Tannehill. That was kind of a definite surprise there. But love what you see from Tannehill. Yeah, definitely. Love what you see from Tannehill as far as delivering in the clutch. And then, Derrick Henry, man. I just, there's not really much to be said other than give him the MVP, or at least a couple of votes. He didn't even, I don't think he received a single vote last year. Now, people are just denying his greatness if he doesn't get a single MVP vote, because he is probably the most dominant running back, in his era easily. You look across the league to, maybe a Nick Chubb. Well, he's in and out of the lineup. He's kind of hurt sometimes. Or Christian McCaffrey, always seemingly hurt the past 2 years. Dalvin Cook is in and out of the lineup, and nobody else compares to the stature and the durability and the physicality and the speed and everything. He's just dominant, and I could gush forever about Derrick Henry. But obviously,
he's the bell cow. I mean, obviously Nick Chubb is a great running back, but even when he's healthy, he splits carries with Kareem Hunt. I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. There's 2 players that carried the ball. Derrick Henry and Ryan Tannehill carried the ball twice. I think one of that is counted as his kneel down at the end of the game. So nobody's carrying the ball except for Derrick Henry, and he's getting it done week in and week out. Maybe Jeremy McNichols going out early with some kind of issue after the first drive. Maybe that affected it. He might have been part of the game plan to get a couple carries, but yeah, he's been this era of, one running back is long gone. It's supposed to be. Like, Henry is a rare breed. He's like the last of a dying breed. I don't know if we're ever going to see a guy like this again. But yeah, I mean, yeah, you continue going. I could listen to Derrick Henry praise all day if you'd like to continue.
For sure. And I mean, it started last year, middle of last season. We were saying stop and smell the roses. We were watching one of the greatest careers of any Titan ever. And now it's progressed to, this is maybe the best Tennessee Titan to ever wear the uniform. So salute to Derrick Henry. What a guy. Even, I don't know if you saw the clip on Twitter, but he came back out after going to the locker room after the game, 20 minutes after, and signed autographs for kids, taking pictures. I mean, he's just the guy. He loved to root for him. Yeah. And everybody's kind of making a joke and calling him adorable because Lisa Salter is interviewing him on the broadcast. He said, "Thank you, Miss Lisa." And just polite manners. What an adorable guy who could also, stiff arm your face into the turf. But what a guy, Derrick Henry. Salute to the king. As for these receivers go, AJ Brown flu game ends up with 7 catches, 91 yards, I think all in the second half. We didn't really see A.J. Brown turn it on till later in this game. And we are seeing that patented Ryan Tannehill play action turnaround. A.J. Brown's there on the slant, 10 yards. Maybe if that Chipotle that he ate that gave him food poisoning, if that had not happened, he might have taken a couple of those to the house in typical A.J. Brown fashion.
Yeah.
And
dude, it's automatic. That was so good to see finally. Again, A.J. Brown, slants across the middle, in the middle of the field. He's got to be one of the best, if not the best receiver in the NFL at that route. I mean, put his foot in the ground and cut and go. Nobody can keep up with him. I hope that's going to become a consistent, stable thing for this offense for the rest of the season, because that's almost unstoppable. So hopefully, A.J. Brown's food poisoning, sicknesses, and injuries are going to be nothing to worry about for the rest of the season. Because, I love seeing A.J. Brown come back. Easily his best game of the season for us so far.
Definitely. And he promised to never eat fast food again. I don't know if you saw the deleted tweet debacle, but we won't maybe have to worry about A.J. Brown's second bout with food poisoning. And speaking of a receiver who's having bouts with issues, I mean, what do you make of the Julio Jones start in Tennessee? Because obviously a little disappointing on an injury front, but you look, we're 1/3 through the season now, and you look at the stat sheet, and Julio Jones, I believe, is our leading receiver in terms of yardage. And even in this game, he has the circus catch, 3 catches for 60 yards. I don't really know what you make of the Julio Jones thing, because if I told you 6 games in that he's going to be your leading receiver, you're probably got a thumbs up and feeling pretty good about the Julio acquisition. So obviously him coming in and out with the hamstring is a little frustrating, but I think you would much rather have Julio Jones healthy in January and kind of gutting it out then than maybe a week 6 game against Buffalo, no matter how important it was. That might be a cold take, but I'm still kind of lopsided on Julio. I really like the guy, really think he's a great receiver. I mean, we saw the spectacular circus catch last night, but he just can't stay on the field.
That's the issues is his health. And I mean, maybe Titans are just cursed in signing a high-end free agent wide receiver off another team. I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, we've had Randy Moss, we've had Andre Johnson. But those guys are at the end of their careers. I think this is a little different situation because, like you said, he's our leading receiver, and it feels like he hasn't even played in half the games. He's ridiculously productive when he's on the field. It's just a matter of staying healthy. So, I mean, if he's going to have to miss a couple games to be healthier for later in the season, that sucks because, I mean, we've said it. I mean, you can see the ability. When he's on the field, he's a game changer for this passing offense. But, I mean, hopefully A.J. Brown can, carry the load should Julio miss a couple more games with the hamstring. One guy I'm pretty disappointed in, though, he was another healthy scratch, I think. Josh Reynolds, man, I expected him to come in and be an impact for this passing offense, but he can't beat out guys like Chester Rogers, Marcus Johnson. Well, no, Chester Rogers has the bigger role playing special teams too. But Nick Westbrook-Akini, who I think he made a few, at least one special teams tackle. He's pretty versatile. But still, I thought Josh Reynolds was going to bring a lot more to the passing game, and he's not even seeing the field right now. So who knows what's going on there? My confidence with Marcus Johnson and Nick Westbrook-Akini immediately behind A.J. Brown is not something I'm super confident about. I would love for Julio to get back there, or for Josh Reynolds to get it together and see some actual playing time. But that's just something a little concerning with this receiving group. We're very, very good at the top of the depth charts, but I mean, when you get down, if you lose A.J. Brown or Julio Jones, we're gonna struggle a little bit. And we saw that against the Jets, where our backup running back Jeremy McNichols led the team in receiving yards. So again, with this with these injuries and this coaching staff just continually having to deal with, okay, who's healthy, who's available, who do we got to rotate in and out? I mean, that can't be an easy thing to manage while you're having to build a game plan week to week. So who's the strength and conditioning coach? Come on, guy.
I know. What's the deal? I feel like this team could be snake bitten this year with injuries, but luckily, I mean, other than Caleb Farley and Cam Batson last night, we haven't had anything too devastating, knock on wood. But it's something everybody's got to deal with. Vrabel's famous quote is the NFL has 100% injury rate. Everybody's dealing with something throughout the year. So just definitely kind of emphasizes the gutsy win from the Titans on Monday night. And you mentioned Nissan Stadium rocking, and there was a lot to do about the Bills fans on the Southwest plane coming in, and they're hooting and hollering on their way to Nashville, going to go drink all your beer on Broadway and this and that. We're going to fill your stadium. And what an opportunity for this Titans team to build confidence on a national stage against a quality opponent. I mean, people were writing off the Titans after the Jets loss, including me and you. You know, we said Super Bowl expectations done. Let's forget all about that. And then we jokingly said Super Bowl is back on the table after the Jags game. Is the Super Bowl back on the table for the Titans? It might be an overreaction, definite overreaction, probably. This team still has a lot of problems, but it just goes to show we can hang with anybody. We can beat anybody. And I thought it was so important just for the Titans fan base as a whole to get this win on Monday night. They showed up. It broke the attendance record at Nissan Stadium, Justin. Who would have thunk it? And shout out to the boy, Matt Neely. I don't know if you saw, I think it was Nate Bain, the Titans social media coordinator. If you add Matt Neely watching from above, the attendance was 69,420. I think the attendance was 69,419, and he said 69,420 if you count Matt Neely. So for sure, that might have been the difference in the game last night. But unbelievable opportunity just for the franchise to really stick it to being a destination town for NFL fans. And just the Titans fans showed up. They showed up, and they finally got an absolute thriller of a game. But two, the Titans delivered a huge win.
Yeah, and it's crazy that, you know, I remember week one, you know, the players maybe have said some things, you know, or at least have talked about, like, you know, we want the fans to come and show up and represent and be loud. And then they lay a horrible egg against the Cardinals. And it's like, dude, you're reinforcing, you're not helping, you know, help draw fans to the stadium. Nobody wants to come to Nissan Stadium to watch their team get their butts kicked. So this was a confidence boost, like you said, for the fans. I think we're going to show out against Kansas City. And the Titans have developed this knack for hosting teams that have fans that travel well and sending them home with a loss. Like we did it against the Packers in 2016. We beat them badly, beat Aaron Rodgers. And I remember seeing a lot of cheeseheads in the stands that game. Did it against Philadelphia Eagles a couple years ago with the Corey Davis overtime touchdown. Did it against the Chiefs when the blocked field goal at the end. Did it now against Buffalo twice. Well, the last year was a Thursday night game, so I don't know. I doubt a whole lot of Bills fans made the trip for that like COVID reschedule game. But the Titans are just pretty good at sending home these sad fans that come and fill up our stadium. So I mean, hopefully, you know, let's give them all the seats they want if the Titans are going to play like this every time that happens. So huge win, huge confidence booster. I mean, it's hard not to already, you know, it's almost time to look ahead to the Chiefs because now we're on to Tuesday and it's a quick turnaround and we've got injuries to deal with. Chiefs aren't playing that well. They showed up and came alive in the second half against Washington, looked a little sketchy at first. I mean, Patrick Mahomes against these cornerbacks is going to be a problem, no doubt. But they've had some defensive issues. So I think this offense is going to have to once again come together, put together an A game, and try to go blow for blow with another elite offense in Kansas City. Going to have to put up over 30 points. I have no doubt about that. So it's going to be a challenge. But, man, if we can get through this, I mean, we're setting ourselves up pretty nicely down the stretch if we're able to take care of business next week.
For sure. And, you know, I wanted to shout out two other players before we move on to the Chiefs game, Justin. How about our boy Slim Randy? Is he our guy? He was perfect on the night.
Randy,
looking
please
real
stand up.
trim. 2 for 2 on field goals, perfect extra points. Randy Bullock with a flawless night. And how about Johnny Townsend? I know he only punted twice, but he had a 53.5 net average. And that first one he came in and kicked was a bomb. I even just wrote up my notes. I said, Townsend with a bomb? Wow. How about it? So formal
63
apologies.
yards. That's a sizable punt, 63-yard punt. So, hey, that 12-yard punt, his first punt as a Titan a few games ago, that was just knocking off some rust. But this dude has a cannon for a leg, that's for sure. So we'll see what that situation is like because Brett Kern could be coming back off of COVID, but you kind of like what Johnny Townsend's been doing for you. And yeah, I love the shout out for Randy Bullock, dude. We could not afford to miss one field goal or extra point in that game, because Buffalo could have easily just driven down and attempted that field goal for the win at the end. So yeah, huge clutch consistency we're seeing from Randy. Thank you, Randy. I'm still nervous, dude. Every time he trots out there for an extra point, I'm still just too traumatized from the past couple of years. But dude, he's giving us this sorely needed consistency at the kicking position, which was huge for us in the game last night.
Definitely. And my mind works this way, and we're talking about this Super Bowl back on the table, blah blah blah. So say the Titans do get to the Super Bowl, for a fact it's going to come down to like Randy Bullock coming out for like a 44-yarder, questionable distance for him, and it's going to be down to him, and we're going to be heading our hands one way or the other. But incredible game. Looking ahead to this Chiefs game, Justin. I mean, we can get beat by anybody and we can beat anybody. Do the Titans dare stack back-to-back wins against the AFC's elite?
Man, it's looking possible. I mean, I think we won the harder of the two games against Buffalo, in my opinion. Buffalo was just coming off a win at Arrowhead by a score of 38-20. So they really put it to the Chiefs. And our offense performed better against the Bills than the Chiefs' offense performed, and our defense performed better against the Bills than the Chiefs' defense did against the Bills. And I know, it's a week-to-week kind of league. Anything can happen. You can't really say this happened last week, so, the trend is probably going to be the same this week. Doesn't really work like that, but, I think the Chiefs, they are so scary, dude. I mean, they looked like they were in trouble in the first half against Washington, like I said, but then you look at the final score and you're like, oh my God, they can put up points like in the drop of a hat, dude. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how fast that offense can just look out of rhythm and then get it together immediately. And Patrick Mahomes could throw 3 picks on 3 straight drives and still end up blowing out a team at the end of the day. So Chiefs are still dangerous as always. I think it's just a matter of our offense, coming in, and I don't know, are we expecting Taylor Lewan to miss next week? It's hard to imagine he's coming back in 6 days to play after getting carted off the field. Yeah. Was it a concussion?
He was being evaluated for concussion. He said everything reported is saying that he's doing well. He's moving. He's talking. He gave like the thumbs up and then like a shaka going off the field. So, like he's with it. He's probably, feeling at least good to somewhat. His wife said something on Twitter about he's doing well, and he's got the spirit of a cockroach. You just can't kill it. You can't snuff it out.
Good.
And I tell you what, man, I've been tough on Taylor Lewan this season. I have been very, very low on him. Obviously, coming out with a dud against Arizona and then not staying healthy for the Seattle game, maybe rushing back, and I've been very critical, but definitely a scary scene for Taylor Lewan getting stretchered off with, face mask cut off and whole 9 yards. So best to him as he kind of comes back, but I would assume he probably has a concussion from that play and might not be playing in the next one. But again, another next man up mentality. Kendall Lamb played well against a vaunted Bills front.
Yeah, no thanks to you, Ty Sambrailo. This was your time to shine, and then you quit football. You quitter. How dare you? But hey, Kendall Lamb, did the offensive line didn't seem to miss a beat when he was in. Still no sacks on Tannehill. Derrick Henry, I think it was Taylor Lewan was still in the game when Derrick Henry ripped off his 76-yard touchdown run. Yeah. But he was running to the right side, I think, and then he cut it back up. So that wasn't even, I don't know how much Taylor Lewan being in there had to do with Derrick Henry ripping off that home run touchdown. But so we got Kendall Lamb in there probably, and then we probably are going to be missing Julio Jones. I would assume they're going to have him sit, and hopefully maybe he can make a effort to be back for Indianapolis in 2 weeks. So a lot of the same guys. I don't know if there's anyone currently injured that's going to expected to be returned, but mostly the same lineup we have on the offense here that we're going to have going up against the Chiefs defense that is certainly not as good as the Bills defense has been. But can we trust the Titans? Are they going to get held to less than 10 points against a much talented Chiefs defense? It's just, I don't know. It's just a week-to-week thing with these Titans. So It's going to be up to the offense again. I think I said it in the preview video last week. Shout out Caleb and Amy stepping in.
Yes.
A lot of fun to do the videos with them. And I said, I think the key is for our offense to be able to go blow for blow with Josh Allen and the Bills, because the Bills have an elite offense. So it's going to be hard to just kind of lean on the defense to get it done for us, which they did, as we said at the top of the show, like situationally opportunistic. They did clamp down when it mattered most, but the Chiefs are going to get theirs next week. They're going to put up points. So Derrick Henry, can you continue pulling this wagon, pulling this team behind you and putting up 3 more touchdowns? I mean, who says no? Don't ever doubt the king.
I mean, take every Derrick Henry rushing prop in the book. I mean, he looks as fast as ever. I think they mentioned it was the fastest run by a ball carrier this season. And just look at Derrick Henry. It's unbelievable. He looks like he's jogging, and he blew by those 2 secondary defenders for the Bills. He was gone. You knew it as soon as he hit the hole hard and he was downhill, and it's over. It's shades of Chris Johnson when you see him bust it. He's gone for the next 50 yards.
And the distance as he kept going was getting larger and larger. And maybe the Bills were letting up, like, okay, he's gone. I can't catch up. But he was continuing to increase the gap as he ran. Dude, that fastest ball carrier thing, that almost seems too crazy to be true. Like, are you telling me that he has clocked in a faster time than like Tyreek Hill on a touchdown bomb, or Lamar Jackson on a long rushing scramble or whatever? Like, I guess so. I mean, it's science, it's facts, and we have the miles per hour somehow clocking these guys. I can't believe it. This 250-pound guy has carried the ball faster than anybody else in the entire National Football League. But I mean, he looked like a rock.
He's the king for a reason,
Yeah, he is. It's crazy that he's as fast as he is. I mean, do we want to spend another hour talking about Derrick Henry?
Yeah, we could. We
could. We have to. We are witnessing greatness. We really are. This guy, he's got to be a Hall of Famer. I mean, I think who's the NFL Network guy? Elliot Harrison, I think he said, if Derrick Henry eclipses 2,000 rushing yards this year and then goes on to do nothing for the rest of his career, he deserves a gold jacket and in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's great. It's great, man. It's such a joy and pleasure to watch this guy play for the Tennessee Titans. So yeah, I don't know. How you feeling, man? Next week, 3-3 Chiefs coming to town. Gonna be tough. This is the 3rd matchup against Mahomes, correct? We had the blocked kick win a couple years ago, and then it was that same season for the AFC Championship game where they won. So here's round 3 against this Patrick Mahomes fella. So
yep. We'll see how it goes. I think, I can see it now. Titans football, a quintessential Titans happening would be back-to-back wins at home against the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs, but then they go to Indy and drop that game to leave the division door open for the Colts. That would be the absolute backbreaker. Just to leave, I mean, they would still be in the lead in the division, but the door would be cracked, because if the Titans can beat Kansas City and then go take care of business in Indianapolis, I mean, let's order our division champs merch in October. It's looking to be that way. And, the AFC South is in tatters and a whole 9. But the Titans just got to show up, take care of business when they can. I don't know what I'm expecting out of this Kansas City game, Justin. It's going to be a coin flip. We'll see if the Titans can bounce back on a short week, big emotional win on Monday night. I mean, against the best team in the league, pretty much the team to beat other than undefeated Arizona. But wow. What a roller coaster win that was. I haven't been that excited about a Titans game in a long time. And that's being a Titans fan. We haven't been as low as we were after the Jets game in a long time. And now we haven't been as high as we've been probably since the AFC title game run. But what an absolute thriller, and just really glad to get the W last night.
Yeah. I mean, I was about to bring that up. You said it best. This is the life of a Titans fan. I mean, I could not watch football. I couldn't think about football after we lost to the Jets a couple weeks ago. I mean, that was just so bad. That just made you just crumble inside. But now we just delivered one of the best wins in Nissan Stadium, maybe top 5 ever. I mean, it being on Monday night, it had those kind of extra elements to it. And we have a lot of these. We've picked up a lot of these insanely exciting wins at home over the years. And this one absolutely is right up there. And we're right back in it. We're right back in the conversation of contenders in the AFC, I think. And we certainly will be if we beat the Chiefs next week. So yeah, I still have these Colts in the corner of my eye, dude. Because look,
for sure, as you should.
Carson Wentz is seemingly getting healthier and playing at a high level. They almost beat the Ravens last week. They're getting T.Y. Hilton back, who started making plays for him as well. Or wait, they destroyed the Texans last week. It was 2 weeks ago where they almost beat the Ravens. So, they got a good win, division win. It looked good doing it. So, I mean, and they still have to play the Jags twice. And, I mean, they're going to hang around. And I'm already starting to look 2 weeks ahead. Like, we really need to win in Indianapolis just to kind of shut the lid on any possible worry that the Colts are going to, hang with us for the rest of the season. It's crazy how soon the season series against the Colts is going to wrap up. It's going to be done before we even hit November, I think. So,
for sure.
But anyway, the Chiefs are next week. I can't get too far ahead, but
Yep.
It's exciting now to, look at what we have in front of us and be like, okay, we need this and this to happen. And we need this game and that game. And so
and whatever you're predicting or thinking about in your head, go ahead and put money on the opposite, because it is the Tennessee Titans. So just, you never really know. Titans fandom is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah. When you think the Titans are going to zig, they zag. When you think they zag, they zig. So don't ever put money on any kind of Titans game. I hope everyone knows that by now.
Yep. Indeed.
So I don't know. Do you have anything else from this game? Any more exciting things? Any player shout outs, or could we wrap this thing up?
First down counter. He had one reception for 11 yards on the opening drive that went for a first down. It was my first note in my notebook. First down counter was at 1. So let's try and get a few more out of him as a tangible receiving threat. That's something the Titans have missed this year in the absence of, be it A.J. Brown or Julio, or, we have a skeleton crew at wide receiver. Where's Anthony Firkser been as the receiving threat that we've seen?
Yeah. I mean, Michael Pruitt is nice in certain situations. He has a couple touchdowns for us, but he's not a guy that's going to catch 4 to 5 passes every game. He got 1 target and 0 catches in this game. Anthony Firkser was supposed to be our pass catching threat. He's had some injury issues, but then he's also just not been playing very well, I think. What's Delaney Walker doing? He's on the streets. Let's sign him back. Come on back, Delaney. I miss having a legitimate pass catching threat at tight end. Let's get Jonnu back. Jonnu's not doing well in New England.
Doing nothing in New England.
I'll take him back on the Titans in a heartbeat. He was so good for us.
Man.
So yeah, I would like to see more out of Firkser. I want to see more Firks downs. That's one of my favorite things we have going, and he's given us like 1 of those this year.
Minimal. But yeah, I think that's gonna kind of do it for the show. I mean, exciting times to be a Titans fan. I mean, national stage, best team in the league, top number 1 offense, number 1 defense. They came to Nashville and left with a loss. Unbelievable. Back and forth roller coaster of a game. And we're back. We were dead after the Jets game, and we have risen from the dead. And, there's slight talks of, will this game matter come tie-breaking time? Do the Titans have a shot at the AFC bye now that they've kind of taken out the team to beat? And if they can beat Kansas City, I mean, they got tiebreakers on both of them. You just got to worry about Baltimore sneaking the 1 seed. But, we were so low last week, and now we're talking about getting a first-round bye in the playoffs. So as it goes, as a Titans fan, let's just look ahead to Kansas City, not dwell on this win too long, but man, was it a special one.
It was. I was going to say, you mentioned Baltimore, and like, dude, what the F, Baltimore? You lost Marcus Peters, your top 2 running backs. Now your left tackle's gone for the season. Why are you 5-1 still? I want you guys to start losing games. Thank you for beating Indianapolis. That was nice, but I'm ready for you guys to start losing. It's crazy what Lamar Jackson's been able to do. He's having a great season, but I hate the Ravens, and maybe I want to see them in the playoffs. We still need to get revenge for getting revenge on us in the playoffs. Yeah. It's a back and forth rivalry. We got to continue going.
Dating back to, the 2000s.
Well, maybe, maybe we should hope for the Ravens to get a higher seed so that when we beat them in the playoffs, we got to play them in Baltimore, because the road team always wins in the playoffs between these 2 teams. So actually keep winning, Baltimore. You guys are great. Forget everything I had just said. Anyway.
Oh, man.
All
Yeah,
right, I
all
guess
good.
that's it. We're just kind of rambling now.
Hey, we're just excited about Titans football again. We hope
Yep.
all of you are excited about Titans football again because wow, what a game. And I think that's going to take us to the barn, Justin. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Tighten up. Enjoy this week. Have a great week, and we'll see you for the preview and NFL picks coming up this week.
Love it. Tighten up. Tighten up.